All right, everybody. Well, here we are back again with a Defender in our spot behind the house where we do all our reviews. We are now at the 2,500 mark and about almost 2 years in. We got it in January of 2018. I think it was, from what I was told, it was the first XMR in Michigan, which was kind of cool for us. We've taken it everywhere. We've had it out on the ice, we've had it out in the trails, we went mud running with it. We've done just about everything you can with this Defender, short of going down south and getting into some nasty real mud. So what I wanted to do today was kind of talk about some of the pluses and minuses and things that I've come across with the Defender. I went ahead and threw the plow on because we're getting close to plow season. You know, it's so easy to throw on. I figured I'd put it on so you guys could see it and talk about it for a minute, and you'll really kind of know what the deal is with the Alpine Flex. So to start off, you know, outside wear and tear. You know, I left her dirty, so she's kind of in her own element right now. Outside wear and tear, everything's held up pretty well. You know, paint's good. A little bit of chipping in some spots from, you know, rocks. That's to be expected. No worries on that. The windshield we did put on, and unfortunately on our last ride to the Badlands, it got a stone chip right on the very edge, and spider cracked across the whole windshield. And I'll take you inside. You can probably see it better from here. And once that happens, there's really nothing you can do about it because of it being a curved piece of glass. It can't be fixed. So I'm just gonna ride it out for this winter and kind of see what other options come up. I definitely won't go glass again just because of that. Even at my cost, it was, you know, $1,000, and that adds up really fast if you're doing these once every year and a half or so. So the roof, so people were asking me what roof this was. I noticed that's just the regular stock Defender roof. It doesn't come with an XMR, but you know, pretty much have to have it. We added the doors. Doors have been great, but one thing that I would recommend doing, because they rattle like crazy, is I went to your hardware store and just got some, you know, soft rubber tubing, and you run a sleeve over there, and it will wear out eventually, but run a sleeve over it, and all the rattling goes away from these doors. They close nice. Everything's great with that, so I couldn't be happier with that. Seats, you know, they're super comfortable, but you know, they do look like they do have a couple little problems and weak spots. And I've got a little puncture hole here and there, and that's, you know, we were being pretty safe with them. Dash, everything's good to go on that. Nothing really to say much about the inside. I did put those little Can-Am, I don't know what you want to call them, the guards for those lower glove boxes in, but they were completely useless. You could barely get anything in because they didn't stretch, and if you tried to force something in there, they broke almost immediately. So even though they're only $20-some, I think I wouldn't recommend them. Let's see. As you guys probably know if you've been watching the video, the only engine problem we've come across was directly due to my fault in not putting the gas cap on before we did some mudding. Took in a bunch of mud into the gas tank, and just to be safe, you know, some people said I probably could have saved the fuel pump, put a new sock on it, and so on and so forth, maybe clean the injectors. But just to be safe and for reliability reasons, I threw in the new fuel pump and the new injectors because the job was really easy. And you know, it was $500, but at the end of the day, now I know she's back to new. We haven't messed with the exhaust, but she's going to get the new full Evo exhaust put on it because we did already flash the Evo Stage 2 tune on it. It's, you know, don't expect to, you know, feel a lot of newfound speed or anything like that. I really believe that the Evo tune was meant for torque. It added a ton of power, it feels like, in the low end. And then of course it removed the speed limiter, so I have broken, I think, over 72 with it, even with these crazy tires, which feels nuts doing 72 down the road with them. But super happy with the tune. Love working with Evo. They got some great stuff. So anything else? Let's see. Rims, you know, you guys, please understand and expect that if you're riding an XMR and you're taking it in the mud, you're gonna get these marks on your rims. You know, that's what happens when you go down deep into the mud and these things are spinning, so they're going to get chewed up. But you know, honestly, is what it is. Kind of adds to the character and the life of the machine, in my opinion. Shocks, everything's still super tight. You know, I did all my greasings. I was really diligent about that. I always made sure I wiped off my grease zerks before I, you know, pumped them with grease, so I wasn't just injecting dirt and junk into them. So steering wise, I have no rack problems. It seems to be quite an issue with Defenders, especially if you try to start putting tires on you. Of course, this is all stock XMR stuff, but you know, the rack has been great. Smart lock functioning flawlessly. Love it. It definitely adds a little bit of reassurance in the mud. Really locks up this front end tight and gets her down the road. Now the plow, I don't know if anybody was concerned possibly about mount points hanging down or anything like that. As you can see here, and I'll try to squeeze the old camera in past the tire, the mounts are actually at the same height as the frame. So just those pins actually protrude once the plow's taken off. And literally there's a little foot peg, that little yellow guy right there, you hit that little foot peg, it unlocks that real quick and it drops down. You can actually put it on using the winch. So you kind of have this holding on to it, it lifts it, clicks it in, and then off you go. When you want to take it off for ripping or whatever you're going to do, literally you just take some tension off, kick that plate, and remove that, and you're off. So plow's been great. You know, we didn't get much snow last year, of course, because I bought a snow plow, but hopefully this year we get a sizable amount so we can really try it out and get some video. The ITP cryptids held up really nice. I'm really surprised that they aren't missing more tread than they are, but they're just, all in all, they're just a horrible tire in my opinion. You can, for mud, they're great. I mean, you guys have seen, you watched Jason put it in that hole just a week ago at the not the Badlands, but at the Hollyoaks ORV park, and she walked right out of there no problem. But when it comes to trail riding, getting from point A to point B, or just general work around the house, they kind of suck. So the plan is to go over to the Maxxis Carnivores for this and go up to 32 inches, because I mean, it's pretty clear that I can get away with 2 more inches, because these are 30 stock on the XMR. So we'll go up to the 32s and it should be nice, and that'll take care of that problem. Suspension, we never touched it. It is a little rough, but I'm hoping with the new tires that that'll clear it up. If not, then maybe we'll experiment with maybe the S3 springs for this, try it out. And then maybe longer down the road, if it still doesn't meet our expectations, maybe we'll try that the old school Razor swap. We put the Fox Razor shocks in here and get some better ride that way, but we'll see how that goes. Headlights, we did go with Royalty Custom Lights. Early on, he got with us about doing an install video, so you've probably seen that. We ended up doing LEDs for low beams and HIDs for high beams, and they work pretty darn good. I'm not a big fan of light bars on some of the machines, so I wanted to not have to do that on the Defender. So this was a good solution. And you know, the ballasts fit really nice up in these corners, so the wiring was clean. If you get them through him, all of the connectors are already you know, stock, so you don't have to do any splicing or anything like that. One of the other things that I know doesn't come with, it could come with a 2020, I haven't checked yet, but the older Defenders, they didn't come with this auxiliary winch remote control. And I've sent the link out to a few people. If I remember, I'll try to put it in this one, but you can get this on Amazon for like $23, and it goes right in there. It's nice for getting out of some nasty stuff if you can't be in the cab. So what else we got here? We did some mirrors. The rear window was a custom job that I did, and I explained this a little bit, so I won't go into detail. I did do a custom rear install video, so if you want to go check that out, please do. But for how it's held up, it's been awesome. A little tougher cleaning because you can't get behind the snorkels, and you know, can't get behind these headrests. But it does a great job. I added a little bit of foam tape in here so there's no rattling. There's some trim, and you know, that was really cheap. homemade way of doing that, and I couldn't be happier. Flag mount. You know, of course, we don't take the Defender of the Dunes much, but some of these parks now are requiring flags. So what I used, and this one over here is plugged, of course. Actually, they don't have one on each side. Over here, there was a drain hole, like right there in the middle. That all I did was just run the bolt through there, and then it's a two-piece, so I don't have to mess with taking it on and off all the time. Rear end, nothing really to comment too much on here other than the exhaust is coming out. You know, one downside, and think about this, that I didn't realize until after I got it home and went to move my flatbed here. If you plan on using this a lot, like out at your farm or whatever you plan on doing around your house with it, or towing, take into account the fact that when you look at the trailer, you see how close the lift is, the hand lift, and when you're hooked to the back of the Defender, you actually can't use that handle. It'll run into the tailgate here, so you would either have to have an extended hitch or one of the foldable style front jacks. So that kind of is one of the issues, but you know, it's something you can work around. It's not really a big deal. Other than that, you know, heat can be an issue with these things. That's why I originally went with this windshield that could open. Some of you may remember I had a solid windshield that I made out of Lexan originally, but I couldn't open it and it would get really warm in the summer. So take that into account when you're purchasing any accessories, that if you don't have a way to vent through here, it can get steamy, even in Michigan. So either, if you're thinking about going with maybe the Super ATV windshield or something like that, get the vents if it's not one that can open. Another problem, these cup holders. I keep meaning to do it. They fill up with water. I don't know why they don't have drain holes in it, but I've looked underneath, there's nothing. Just shoot a little 1/4-inch drill bit through it for draining. That should help out. We did change the belt a while back on one of the services, but it definitely didn't really need to be done. I'm pretty diligent on going in every couple 100 miles or so and blowing out the belt case, the CVT case, to get all the dust out, because it can accumulate pretty bad in there, especially with the snorkels up here in the back, just sucking the dust that wraps around in. I've been trying to think about maybe some sort of pre-filter that we can put in this to help you know, mitigate some of that dust. So other than that, I've been super happy with the Defender. It does everything we need it to do. We're looking forward to this winter, getting into some good snow with it, playing with the plow, and just getting up into the woods for deer season. Oh, that also reminds me, one of the things we did for hunting for Ash and I is in the center here. We did the Kolpin holders for the rifles. So you can literally stick your gun, shotgun, whatever you want, right in there, and it rides like a dream. So that's great for, you know, two-person hunting, getting back and forth into the woods. So for all of you guys who've been with us since the beginning, we really appreciate it. It's been a long haul getting to where we are. I think today, or I think it was yesterday, we finally broke the 840 mark. So we're getting close to hitting that 1,000 line. You know, so help share and like and you know, subscribe to these videos, and if you got anybody else that's interested in this stuff, you know, share with them so they know what they're getting into and what to expect. You know, our plan with these videos is to kind of figure this stuff out the hard way, so you guys don't have to, and have a little fun, you know, in the meantime. So thanks for sticking around with us, and we'll hope to see you on the trails.